Ever wondered how to make your own delicious granola at home? Well, today we're diving into the world of homemade granola, a world filled with crunch, flavor, and health benefits. Making granola at home is not just easy, but it's also customizable. You can pick and mix ingredients to your liking and health needs. Plus, homemade granola is often far healthier than its store-bought counterparts, free from unnecessary sugars and preservatives. Stay tuned to learn how to make your own granola step by step. To make granola, we first need to gather our ingredients. The heart of any granola lies in its base. Here we'll be using rolled oats, the age-old breakfast staple. Oats are a fantastic source of nutrients and fiber, making them a great way to start your day. They're also incredibly versatile, taking on the flavors of whatever they're paired with, which is why they're ideal for this recipe. Next up, we have our sweetener. You can choose your favorite one here, but for this recipe, we'll be using honey. Honey not only lends a natural sweetness to our granola, but also acts as a binder, helping to create those delightful little clusters that make granola so irresistible. Moving on, we have oil. This is what gives our granola that golden, crispy texture. You can use any neutral oil, but for a healthier option, we're going with coconut oil. It has a subtle flavor that pairs beautifully with our other ingredients, and it's packed with healthy fats. But what makes granola truly special are the add-ins. This is where you get to be creative and customize the recipe to your liking. We're going to be using a mix of almonds and cashews for some extra crunch and protein, but you can use any nuts you like. Just remember to chop them up into bite-sized pieces to ensure even baking. The same goes for dried fruits. We're using raisins and dried cranberries for a sweet and tart contrast, but again, feel free to swap these out for your favorites. Just keep in mind that dried fruits can burn easily in the oven, so we'll be adding them in after the granola has baked. Lastly, we'll be adding in some vanilla extract and a pinch of salt. The vanilla adds an extra layer of flavor, while the salt helps to balance out the sweetness. Now that we have the ingredients, let's move on to the preparation. Now, the preparation begins with mixing the ingredients. Our first step is to combine the oats with your choice of sweetener and oil. Whether you opt for honey, maple syrup, or agave nectar, the sweetener is essential to balance the nuttiness of the oats and give our granola that irresistible crunch. As for the oil, you could use coconut oil for a tropical twist, or olive oil for a more neutral flavor. Gently stir these three ingredients together until every oat is coated in a glossy layer of sweetener and oil. Now let's talk add-ins. This is where you can let your creativity shine. Nuts are a popular choice for granola, and for good reason. They add a hearty crunch and a boost of protein. Almonds, walnuts, or pecans would all be excellent choices. Just remember to chop them into bite-sized pieces before adding them to the mix. Don't forget about dried fruits. They add a sweet and chewy contrast to the crunchy oats and nuts. Raisins, dried cranberries, apricots, or even exotic options like goji berries or dried mango can elevate your granola to new heights. One thing to note is that dried fruits can become a bit too hard when baked, so we'll save these for after our granola has come out of the oven. You also have the option of adding seeds to your mix. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, or flax seeds could add an additional layer of texture and nutrition to your granola. Once you've decided on your add-ins, simply toss them with the oat mixture. Make sure everything is evenly distributed. This is important because we want every bite of granola to have a bit of everything. A hint of sweetness, a crunch of nuts, and the chewiness of dried fruits. And there you have it. A bowl full of potential, ready to be transformed into golden, crunchy granola. Once everything is mixed together, it's time to bake our granola. Baking is the key process that transforms our mixture into crunchy, delicious granola. It's the step that brings all the ingredients together and gives our homemade granola its signature crunch and flavor. Let's talk about the baking process now. Once we've mixed all our ingredients together, it's time to spread the mixture onto a baking sheet. Ensure it's spread evenly to avoid any hot spots where the granola might cook faster than in other areas. This will help us achieve a uniformly baked granola. The temperature and time required for baking granola are vital. Remember, we're not looking to roast our ingredients, but bake them till they're nice and crispy. So we'll need to set our oven to a moderate temperature. Around 325 degrees Fahrenheit or about 165 degrees Celsius should do the trick. As for the time, it generally takes between 45 minutes to an hour. But don't just set a timer and forget about it. baking granola requires a little bit of babysitting. You see, we want our granola to bake evenly, which means we'll need to give it a good stir about halfway through the baking process. This ensures that every piece of granola gets its fair share of heat and turns out perfectly crispy. Now, it's important to keep an eye on the oven as the granola bakes. We're looking for a golden brown color, indicative of the sugars caramelizing and the oats becoming toasty. Once you see this color, you'll know your granola is done. But remember, every oven is different, so these are just guidelines. Trust your senses. If it looks done and smells delicious, it probably is. Once the granola is golden brown and crispy, it's time to let it cool. This is an essential step, because as the granola cools, it continues to harden, giving us those delightful, crunchy clusters we all love in our granola. So resist the temptation to dig in immediately and let it cool. Patience is indeed a virtue when it comes to making homemade granola. Cooling is an important step in the granola making process. Remember, patience is key here. Don't rush to seal your jar or box while your granola is still warm, as it could lead to an unwelcome surprise later. Moisture buildup. Moisture is the enemy of crunchy granola. It's the cool down period that allows your granola to achieve its signature crispiness. As tempting as it may be to dive right into your freshly baked granola, giving it ample time to cool will ensure that it retains its delightful crunch. Just imagine each spoonful of your homemade granola bursting with flavor and that satisfying crunch that never gets old. It's worth the wait, isn't it? Now, once your granola is completely cool, it's time to store it. It's crucial to keep it in an airtight container. Glass jars, metal tins, or even a plastic box with a tight seal can do the job. But remember, the container must be completely dry before adding in your granola. Even a tiny bit of moisture can turn your beautiful granola into a soggy disappointment. Location is also another factor that can affect the freshness of your homemade granola. A cool, dry place is ideal. No, not your refrigerator. That's a common misconception. The humidity in the fridge can actually make your granola lose its crunch. A kitchen cabinet away from the stove or any heat source is a perfect choice. And what about the shelf life? Well, if stored correctly, your homemade granola can stay fresh and crunchy for up to 2 weeks. But let's be honest, it's so delicious it probably won't last that long. To sum up, proper cooling and storage are key to maintaining the freshness and crunch of your homemade granola. So, don't skip these steps. After all, you've put in the effort to make it. Why not make sure it stays perfect till the last spoonful? And there you have it, your very own homemade granola. Enjoy it as a healthy snack, a quick breakfast, or as a topping for your favorite yogurt or fruit salad. The possibilities are endless. Making your own granola at home is simple and rewarding. And there you have it, a step-by-step guide on how to craft your own delicious, nutritious granola right in your kitchen. We've walked through the process together, from selecting and preparing your ingredients to the baking, cooling, and storing. Remember how we started with those basic ingredients? The oats, the nuts, the seeds, the sweeteners? The beauty of homemade granola is that it's your canvas. You can paint it with whatever flavors and textures you fancy. Want to add dried fruit for an extra sweet kick? Go for it. How about a sprinkle of coconut flakes for a tropical twist? Absolutely. The world of granola is yours to explore and experiment. But the benefits of homemade granola extend beyond its customization. It's more than just a breakfast food, it's a health boost in a bowl. By making your own granola, you're in control of the ingredients, which means you can limit the sugar, skip the preservatives, and pack in all the fiber, protein, and healthy fats you need. It's empowering, isn't it? Knowing that you can create something so simple, yet so beneficial. Homemade granola is not just about eating, it's about living healthier and enjoying the process of creation. So, why not give it a try? You may just find your new favorite breakfast.